For 30 years, I've been improving my own health, working with thousands of clients to improve their health. And one nutrient I found to be extremely important, one plant compound that I found to be extremely important, is quercetin. And quercetin is a flavonoid. There are 6,000 flavonoids, but quercetin is the most potent one. And it works synergistically with vitamin C, found in foods like broccoli, peppers, berries, onions. Quercetin turns out to be the most potent antihistamine, the most potent natural antihistamine. It's a very effective antioxidant. It's a very effective anti-inflammatory, and not only does it reduce inflammation, but it instigates and initiates repair. If you have a health concern and you say, gee, the doctors don't find anything really wrong, but I'm not in perfect health, or I'm having some pain, one amazing thing about quercetin is its capacity to reduce pain. It very quickly reduces pain, particularly if used with vitamin C. So what I want to do is just go over what the major 8 benefits that I've seen in my practice with quercetin, and maybe you can think about giving it a try if you say, I'm not quite there, I don't quite have, I still have some problems. I still have some congestion, some inflammation, some pain syndromes. Of course, as I mentioned, it's the best natural antihistamine, so it's very anti-allergy. If you want to know how that works, it inhibits mast cell activation. Mast cell are those, happens with an allergy. Mast cell activation is inhibited. It blocks inflammatory activities. It stabilizes and protects the cell membrane. It does things like reduce interleukin-6. And it is very similar in effect to many allergy medications, particularly the medication cromolyn. It's found to be as effective and safer than that medication. And it compares very well with the effect of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, although quercetin is much safer. Quercetin is also a very potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. Wherever there's inflammation, there's pain. That's why quercetin will help with pain, because it's anti-inflammatory. It will shut down that cascade of inflammatory reactions, and it is antioxidant, so it helps quench the free radicals associated with inflammation. There's thousands of articles on quercetin. You can search it yourself on PubMed. Details of how it decreases inflammatory mediaries, how it affects prostaglandins, many activities that have an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effect. And what does that mean for you? It means there's going to be less pain, and it's going to protect the cells so that they can function more properly. Antihistamine, anti-inflammatory. The next favorite use of quercetin I like is antiviral. And you might have heard with this current epidemic, people talking about quercetin, because quercetin, it's been known since 1980 that quercetin was very effective for all sorts of flus, and it particularly interferes with virus replication. It's highly studied. It was with this COVID crisis, they looked at many compounds, many plant compounds, and this was the 5th most successful in actually being antiviral. And so it's a very strong antiviral. It makes sense, right? We use it in conjunction with vitamin C. They work together. They're often found together in nature, and they're both strong antivirals. Quercetin particularly supports lung functioning. It enhances lung functioning, and it reduces the severity of upper respiratory tract infections. Very good for the lungs. Lots of mechanisms by which it works. Number 4, it's neuroprotective. For example, it helps to maintain a good energy flow in the brain, and it actually crosses the blood-brain barrier and protects the brain from oxidative stresses and free radicals. We don't think much about the fact that there is a blood-brain barrier. The body doesn't want a lot of things getting into the brain, but it does want quercetin getting into the brain, because it helps to protect from free radical damage and inflammation in the brain. All the neurons in the brain are helpfully protected by quercetin. Quercetin also encourages autophagy within the brain, where nature kind of house cleans and recycles cells that are no longer very healthy. The sixth point I keep in mind about quercetin is it has certain anti-cancer properties. Particularly, studies suggest that it helps with apoptosis or recycling of tumor cells. There's been quite a few studies on quercetin in breast cancer. And it makes sense, right? It's antioxidant. Cancers are very related to oxidative damage. It's anti-inflammatory. Almost all disease is based in inflammation. So I like the anti-cancer effects of quercetin. As with all these natural plant compounds, they're so helpful. I like quercetin amongst all of them also. Quercetin also has been documented to enhance physical performance. All of us are trying to keep our energy as high as we can, to perform as well as we can. Quercetin actually increases the VO2 max, the oxygen you can uptake. It relaxes the muscles during exercise. Many people find they don't develop the pain that they get after strenuous exercise when they are on a regular basis of quercetin and vitamin C. And it protects the muscles, again, from free radical damage. Remember, free radicals damage every tissue. When we exercise, we produce a lot of free radicals. Quercetin helps to reduce the exercise impact of oxidative damage.
I want to talk about one of the best natural antihistamines that you can get. So if you have sinus congestion, some mucus in the lungs, for example, or hives, rashes, itching, asthma, allergies, you definitely want to try this out. And the natural remedy is called quercetin. Now, quercetin is in a lot of different foods. It's very high in capers, radish leaves, carob, dill, cilantro, fennel, red onion, especially the outer portion, and kale. But if you have any of these conditions, you probably want to get it in a supplement. I don't have a specific brand. You're going to have to do research on that based on reviews. But if you have it really severe, I would recommend taking higher dosages. So if it's in a powder, you can take 1 teaspoon. If it's in a tablet, you can take 1,000 milligrams. And that could, depending on if it came in 500 milligrams or, 250 milligrams, you could take 1,000 milligrams at a time, and then you would do that 4 times a day. So you would take 4,000 milligrams a day, and that would be for a severe situation if you had a lot of mucus. Now, the active ingredient is a phytonutrient. It's a certain polyphenol that has antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties. So this is also good for any of the inflammatory processes like the itises, bursitis, arthritis, tendinitis, that type of thing. But hands down, it's one of the most powerful natural antihistamines that you can get with very minimal, if any, side effects. I want to talk about one of the best natural antihistamines that you can get.